What's up, Giant Slayers? Brandon here from David vs. Goliath BJJ. In today's video, we're going to be going over 3 hand fighting techniques from the back mount. So if you guys want to level up your back mount game and your hand fighting techniques, then keep on watching. Alright guys, so for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be on my knees behind Tim. I'm not holding hooks right now just so I can go over the hand fighting details with you guys, but assume that my hooks would be in. Let's dive in. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my over-under seatbelt grip here. The first hand fighting technique from the back mount that I want to cover is how to hold a proper seatbelt. Okay, so the way I like to do it is to imagine I have a knife in my hand and I'm going to stab Tim in the heart. And the reason why I use this analogy is to hide the shelf of my hand. Okay, so if I hold a seatbelt and the ledge of my hand is exposed, it's really easy for Tim to grab onto that ledge here. Okay, so now when I try to go to choke him, right, he has a lot of leverage on this grip. Okay, so when I go to stab him in the heart, what's happening is I'm hiding this ledge, okay, inwards here. Okay, so that makes it a little bit more difficult for Tim to get a really nice grip, right, on my choking hand. Okay, so the second detail here is when I go to hold the seatbelt, I'm going to cover my choking hand with my secondary hand here. Okay, so a common mistake is to grab your wrist. Right, if I grab my wrist, this actually allows Tim to grab the bottom of the lever here, which is my hand. Okay, so if Tim controls the bottom of my hand here, there's no way I'm going to be able to blast through him and choke him here, blast through that grip, no ways. Okay, so when I hold this seatbelt, again, I'm going to stab him in the heart. Okay, I get a thumbless grip here over the top of my choking hand, controlling the bottom of the lever. Okay, so from here, this forces Tim to either grab higher up on my choking hand, or if he decides to grab my non-choking hand here, I can still choke him. Okay, so again, the first detail, or hand fighting technique again, is with the seatbelt. Okay, stabbing him in the heart, hiding the ledge of your hand here, and covering, right, your choking hand with your support hand at the bottom of the lever. Alright guys, that leads me to the second hand fighting technique from the back mount. Okay, so when I have the over-under seatbelt control right here, what's really common defense is for Tim to use inside thumb position with his left hand here. So if my right hand is the choking hand, Tim's going to use his left hand inside thumb position on my wrist. Okay, so that's going to stop the choke. Okay, so when I have this seatbelt, okay, a lot of times as I'm going for the choke, Tim's able to sneak that hand on the inside here. Okay, so a lot of times you're going to get stuck trying to go for the collar or trying to go for the choke with this inside thumb position. Very common. Okay, so one common mistake right here that I see a lot of people doing is to grab the wrist, okay, and to try to free this hand. Okay, so if Tim has a nice tight grip on this hand, it can be really difficult for me to free my right hand, my choking hand. Okay, so I'm going to make a little adjustment. Instead of grabbing Tim's wrist right here, okay, I'm going to crawl up to the knuckle line. Okay, so Tim's knuckle line right here is what I'm aiming to grab here. Okay, so I'm kind of squeezing his fingers together, and this is going to be a little bit stronger grip for me. Okay, so instead of holding on to the wrist, okay, Tim has a nice strong grip. He's got some meaty hands. He's a big dude. Okay, I'm going to reach up to the knuckle line and grab his fingers. Okay, so as I do this, again, I'm looking to punch my hand down and away. Here. Okay, so this gives me a lot of leverage over his hand and allows me to pop the hand off here. Now, if my hand gets stuck, okay, I like to use the little wiggle technique. Okay, so instead of doing one big punch, right, I just do a bunch of little punch, little punch, little punch until I can get my hand free. Okay guys, so once I punch my hand free, I wiggle, 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 wiggle here. Boom, I get it. I'm going to roll my wrist in. Okay, and I'm going to use Tim's own body to keep his hand stuck here. Okay, so what happens a lot of times is after I get this hand free, okay, if I leave this hand dangling here on the outside, Tim can recapture my hand. Okay, or sometimes he'll swim away. Okay, so I'm here and he'll punch his hand away. Okay, so once I control the knuckle line here and I free my grip, okay, I want to roll my wrist in and I want to utilize Tim's own body to keep his hand stuck here. Okay, so I'm using the combination of controlling the knuckle line, not the wrist, and his own body to secure this hand. Okay, this is going to make it a lot harder for Tim to recapture my choking hand now. Alright guys, and that leads me to the third and final technique for today's video in the hand fighting series from the back mount. Okay, so picking up where we left off, if I control Tim's knuckle line here, I'm able to punch my hand free, I roll my wrist in, I trap it against his own body. Okay, Tim is now going to use his right hand to try and stop my choke here. Okay, so we got to learn how to bypass this as a hand fighting technique also. Okay, so if I just try to choke him, sometimes if you're stronger, you might be able to get away with it. Okay, for Tim and I, Tim's a lot stronger than me, a lot bigger than me, so there's no way I'm going to power through this. Okay, so Tim's got a lot of leverage to stop my choke. Okay, so his right hand is really good at stopping my right hand in this direction. Okay, but his right hand is really terrible at stopping my right hand from pulling over his own shoulder. Okay, so I'm going to look to pull my right hand over Tim's right shoulder. Here. Okay, so Tim, try to hang on as tight as you can. Okay, I'm going to try and choke him. No, really hard for me to choke him here. But again, as I pull my own right hand over his shoulder, watch what happens. Okay, Tim has a lot less leverage, okay, to control my hand as I pull in this direction here. Okay, so again, his right hand is strong at preventing the choke. Not so strong when I pull it over his right shoulder. Okay, so some of you guys might be thinking, well, why am I doing that? Okay, so once I'm able to release my hand here, now I'm going to look for top hand control. Okay, I'm going to look to get over the top of Tim's right hand. Okay, so now if you notice, I have two hands on top of Tim's hands, and nothing's stopping me from going to the choke. Imagine you guys are racing your friend across the street or something, and you get to say go. Okay, that's kind of what it's like when you have two hands on top. Yeah, I'm going to race to his neck, but I get to say go. Now, if Tim tucks his chin, okay, that presents a couple more problems. We'll cover that in the next video. Okay, but for today's video, you guys, those are the 3 hand fighting techniques from the back mount. Alright guys, as a bonus technique, Tim was asking me, well, what happens if he defends by putting his right hand up here? Okay, so sometimes if there's enough space, I'll still look to wiggle my hand in between this pocket right here. Okay, if not, I'm still going to look to control Tim's hand. Okay, so Tim has his hand up on his ear. This is really common defense. Alright, I'm still going to grab the knuckle line, okay, and get top hand position here. Okay, so Tim putting his hand up here. Okay, again, if there's enough space, I'll sneak through. Okay, if he captures my hand, I can always pull it right back over his shoulder. But again, I'm looking for top hand control here, and then I can race to his neck. Alright guys, there you have it, 3 hand fighting techniques from the back mount. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give that like button a slap and a fist bump. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you stay in the loop, choke, and you don't miss out on weekly videos. Thanks for watching guys, and we'll see you in the next video.